What's up guys, Carter here from Fireproof Plants, and today we're going to be doing some science experiments around water and why water is so important to plants and why you should really be paying attention to what kind of water that you're giving your plants. Fascinating. Wow. Science. First off, why do plants need water? Plants need water because it helps them complete photosynthesis and it helps them absorb water-soluble nutrients. Basically, plants give up water in order to absorb CO2, and that carbon from that CO2 is essential to growing and flourishing. So we know why plants need water. The next question is, how do they get it? The plants absorb water through their roots. And these roots are connected to xylem, and the xylem then connects to the leaves. When the water evaporates out of the leaves, it draws up water through the roots. So we know your plants need water, and now we know how they get them. So how do you avoid overwatering them? This is especially important when you're dealing with cacti and succulents. And it's not necessarily the water itself that's gonna kill your plants. It's the nasty fungi and bacteria and other pathogens that live in wet soil that is gonna be the problem for your plants. So how do we avoid that wet soil? Well, the biggest thing is to make sure that your soil is properly prepared. This is the lovely soil that the guys at East Austin Succulents use. And as you can see, there is a lot of inorganic material in there. I see little pebbles, I see expanded shale, I see pumice. All of these things do not absorb water and help the water run through the soil and thus not become waterlogged. So we know what to add now to soil to avoid having it waterlogged. But what does it look like when your plant's been overwatered? This is what you're gonna see. They're going to get wilty, they're gonna get squishy, and they're gonna get black. As you can see on this one, you can even see some mold showing up, but this is a classically overwatered plant. Now, if you're underwatering your plant, they're gonna turn yellow, they're gonna get crunchy, and the pot is gonna feel very light. Take, for example, this guy. As you can see, a lot of yellow here, the crunchy, crispy leaves, it all looks withered, classic underwatering. Let's compare the two. Overwatering, underwatering. Crunchy, squishy. So we've gone over how to avoid overwatering, why your plants need water, and what your plants are looking like if they get too little water or too much water. But what kind of water do your plants need? And that's right, there's different kinds of water. The main difference between different sources of water is going to be its pH, or the amount of free hydrogen ions in a given solution. Plants prefer a more acidic water, and there's a few reasons for that. Mainly, it's because acidic water makes it easier for plants to absorb micronutrients like manganese, iron, potassium. Beneficial microbes prefer more acidic water. So if you provide your plant with acidic water, it'll promote those beneficial microorganisms. Now, what do we mean by acidic? On the pH scale, anything below 7 is considered acidic, and that's logarithmic. So each number you go down or up, it's tenfold. Anything from 7 to 14 is basic. Let's take a look at some different sources of water and see what their pH is and how we can get a more perfect pH level for our plants. We have 4 vials set up. One with rainwater, one with tap water, one with a controlled distilled water, and finally we have well water. We have drops and we have an electronic pH tester, so we really are going to be accurate on this. Let's take a look at our rainwater. Rainwater is usually very acidic, and that's why rainwater is usually the best thing for your plant. Ooh. All right, it's coming in at a 7.6. Usually rainwater is a little more acidic. I'm thinking this is because this might have had a little distillate in it from sitting in some soil. Let's take a look at distilled water. All right, and just as I suspected, it's right at a 7. Taking a look at well water. Now this should be the most basic, most alkaline of all of them, because here in Austin, Texas, we're basically sitting on a giant slab of calcium carbonate, which should make the soil very high on the pH scale, and thus any water that's in it. All right, and just as I thought, this well water's at about an 8.2, which is definitely more basic than the first two that we've come across. And finally, good old Austin municipal tap water. Let's see here, what are we drinking? Oh my gosh! And the shock of the day, the Austin municipal tap water is by far the most alkaline. It's actually reading an 8.9. And the reason why is because Austin raises the alkalinity so that it's better for people. People actually need more alkaline water, the opposite of plants. Another reason the government makes tap water more alkaline is to keep algae down. It acts as a killer and a disinfectant. When you go to the store and you buy alkaline water, it's actually the same reading. But clearly, you can get the same results from the water coming out of your sink. So don't waste your time buying $3 bottles of water. As our experiment showed, the tap water was the most basic one available to us, and probably the one that's going to be most commonly available to all of you. So, how do we bring this tap water down to a better pH level for our plants? There's a couple ways. The best way is with this. White vinegar. Just about a teaspoon per gallon, and it'll really drop it down. And let's see. So we're gonna add a few drops. Bam. As we can see, that's turning blue. Very, very alkaline. Swirl it around. Boom. Voila. Turned yellow. Down to a 6. This is muriatic acid. Hyper concentrated. For 300 gallons, you only need a couple ounces of this. So it's much more efficient if you're watering lots and lots of plants, if you own a nursery or something like that. This is our fertilizer. Adding just a touch. Mixing it in. Whoa! So as you can see, this fertilizer also changes the pH. This is a 20-20-20 fertilizer. And now, how do we raise the pH? Common baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate. Let's see what happens. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh my gosh! What's happening? And this fizzing is the chemical reaction of an acidic solution mixing with an alkaline solution. Woohoo! Look at that color change. Look at that color change. And look, once it gets to an alkaline solution, it's no longer fizzing. It gets a lot more complicated than that, but that's really all you need to know to take really good care of your plants. Give them something acidic, and even if it's not acidic, try to at least make it neutral. But if you can't, get some good soil that's going to help it drain.
Make sure to like and subscribe, and follow East Austin Succulents and Fireproof Plants on Instagram.